Now, let me ask you a question. Before I scroll down, do you think that they were upset about this, or do you think they were absolutely roasting the NCFAA below? What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with the MF Film Room. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA college football, hit that red subscribe button right now. Do it. A little short on the subs, and I'd really appreciate those. It's free to you. All it's going to cost you is being up to date on everything EA college football related. Also, if you like college football content, go into my description and you will see Master Football with Jake Posey, and follow me on Twitter/X. That fame is growing. Please like the video too, but without further ado, let's get back to the EA college football content. All right, guys, I am still so excited about this game. Again, we are only a couple months away from this game coming out. However, we're already starting to see some drama around this game. Just yesterday, today for me, International Women's Day, for all of you women out there, well, all three of you that actually watch this channel, there's a couple things around EA College Football right now that revolve around disinclusion from certain aspects of the previous game, NCAA Football 2014, in addition to a lot of entities related to the colleges and universities around advertising are very, very upset about this game. Again, basically seems like everybody who's not playing this game is upset about this game, and everybody who wants to play this game is absolutely jacked about being in this game. You can see there's a giant discrepancy between all of the off-field people and all of the on-field people, especially with how many people were in the game. We already know that over 10,000 college athletes, think about that, over 10,000 18 to 22-year-olds voluntarily did something by themselves in order to be in a video game. I mean, they filled out some paperwork on time and ready to go. It's absolutely crazy, shocking. They did it all before the deadline of April 30th to be in the game, for at least for the initial roster out there. So think about that. All the university students, all the athletes, they are ready for the game. There's a lot of people off the field that aren't necessarily happy about the game. We're going to get into them in a second here. But I think the big thing is first of all, like I said, we're going to talk about a disinclusion from the game, from the last game, in addition to that drama. But first, let's go over the good news. And thank God, because of all the things that could be taken away from this game, this is one thing that I think people actually do find very important. All right, guys, so here it is. Here on International Women's Day, March 8th, 2024, we're in the game, the Heisman Trophy, the official Heisman Trophy Twitter account, Twitter X account, whatever, here on Twitter/X. But we see the fact they are in the game, and that's good because they're basically the only trophy that's in the game. Here we are on 3. The National College Football Awards Association opts out of EA College Football 25. And again, just about 15 hours ago. And we see the fact that this is crazy when I say this. For the first time in more than a decade, EA Sports is returning to the college football space. However, in NCAA EA College Football 25, the National College Football Awards Association has declined an offer. The association's president, Mark Wolbert, told On 3, the offer that is made to us is not adequate for the rights fee of the award. What does this mean? Fans who buy the game and play Road to Glory in Dynasty modes will not have the chance to win real trophies that college football players are annually awarded. Before EA Sports made the call to cancel a series a decade ago, NCFAA awards were included. So of the awards that are not going to be in the game, we got the Bednarik, the Biletnikoff, the Davey O'Brien, the Doak Walker, the Groza, the Jim Thorpe, the Maxwell, the Outland, and the Ray Guy. The assumption is the Heisman Trophy, which is operated by the Heisman Trust, will be included in the game. And you saw that article just before that basically saying that they are going to be in the game. However, the rest of them, they're not. Now, I want to make sure I talk about this because, again, this is from Mark Wolpert's perspective, he has to protect his entity, make sure that he gets fair market price. However, the issue with that is there's going to be, if they don't get into the game eventually, there's going to be a generation of players who come up and they don't know about the Biletnikoff Award, that it's a wide receiver award up until they get to college. They don't care, because they were trying to get the best wide receiver award. The Bednarik, the best, I want to say just best overall defensive player. I want to say like defensive linebacker of some sort. I mean, again, I might be wrong on that. Davey O'Brien, quarterback. Doak Walker, running back. Jim Groza, it should be Jim Groza, the kicker award. Jim Thorpe, best DB. Maxwell, best overall offensive player. Outland Trophy is the best interior lineman, and then the Ray Guy Award, which is the best punter. Again, first of all, I'm awesome. It's off the top of my head. What I'm basically saying here is the fact that, unfortunately, earlier on in the process, there was, with CLC signed that agreement, they had 120 universities that were with CLC already. Now think about that. There's 134 FBS teams that are going to be into this game. So that means that there were 14, sorry, my math's not great. There were 14 universities that had to sign individual deals, and they did. One of them was Notre Dame. Now think about this from this perspective. These universities that honestly think they weren't going to be in this game. I mean, knew they had to be in this game, whatever it took. Now they obviously made a deal. People struck, to make sure that Notre Dame, make sure that it was Fresno State. I want to say Tulane. A couple of those other schools were included in the game. The service academies as well, and now they are included. As a matter of fact, service academies also have their names in the game, which is awesome. Based, thank you, Pentagon. One of the few times we're actually going to thank the Pentagon on something. But again, this is a big. The fact that Mark Wolpert doesn't have this in the game shows the discrepancy between this fan base and this entity and the people in the world of college football. College football is a decentralized system. As you can see right now, the universities are going through a negotiation for the college football playoff where the Big Ten and the SEC automatically get first round buys, no matter what. That's a one of the offerings on the table. However, when you think about it, the Big Ten and the SEC basically have half the viewership. So half the viewership, reason why people are watching the playoff is because of viewership. It's unfair and fair for them at the same time, depending upon what you look at. For Mark Wolpert, he's thinking like, okay, well, if we're not getting fair market value, we're not going to be in the game. And unfortunately, what he doesn't understand is this group here doesn't care. So the best one here was at the On3, the official tweet here that they had. It says, news, the National College Football Awards Association has opted out of EA College Football 25. Well, the great thing about this is you can actually see what people are thinking about this. Now, let me ask you a question. Before I scroll down, do you think that they were upset about this? Or do you think they were absolutely roasting the NCFAA below? They were roasting them. Check it out here. So we see here, any award that isn't the Heisman for my recruits, zero interest. Okay. Well, then we no longer care about the Maxwell or Biletnikoff or the Doak Walker or the Groza or Grozo, as they said in the article over there. We also see, I can't wait to win the best wide receiver, best O-lineman awards again. Odd decision by them, best QB, best running back, etc. All the same to me. Get in there and make this about you. That's one of my favorite. Another one down here. They thought they did something? Yeah, exactly. Nobody in this community, at least the sickos that I know, cares. Now that is just on the award side. So we know that the Heisman is in and the rest of those trophies are out. But now instead of those rest of those trophies, it's best overall offensive player. It's going to be offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, defensive lineman of the year, edge rusher of the year, quarterback of the year, kicker of the year, punter of the year. They're basically just going to do all that. Nobody's really going to miss anything. So again, that's what's going to happen there. There's also this article that came out from Matt Brown, and this is talking about some of the other people connected to the game. Now, again, I'm not going to show this down here. You have to go to Extra Points and subscribe. I'm going to include this link in the description here. You have to subscribe to that. I'm going to come off the camera here, but I'm still going to read from some of it because I think some of it's important to discuss, to see, like I said, how much hype there is around this game and how much animosity there is from this game, mostly from outside the community. The article starts off and talks about the fact that there's 10,000 athletes that have opted into this game. And think about that. That's very early. That is crazy. And again, he basically said out here that 90% of the players are going to be in this game before the soft deadline of 6 weeks, which is roughly around April 30th of this game. But like we said, other than Arch Manning, aka Starch Lanning, that name is copyrighted. Okay, I haven't copyrighted, but I'm thinking about doing it. Other than that, though, basically everybody else is in this game. And again, same thing with Arch Manning. He's going to find out real quickly that the community doesn't care if you're in the game. If you're in the game, cool. But the sickos, they don't care. They want the game. They want it recruiting. Besides, at the end of the day, Arch Manning only has, what is he got? He's got 4 full years of eligibility left. So, oh no, like whatever. 4 years. People play this game way longer than 4 years. So let's continue on through this article here. So we already know that the College Football Players Association, which is the unofficial, but they're trying to be official union representation for college football players, which, by the way, will be coming eventually down the road. How soon, we don't know. But they have already said, oh, yeah, well, the lack of residuals, this payment, we wouldn't want our guys included at all. There's no way to do this. So we see that the fact that they're upset. However, there's a new entity that is also upset at this game. So most universities in the country, most FBS schools have something called an MMR, which is a multimedia rights organization. You hear names like JMI, PlayFi, or Learfield. I know Boise State uses Learfield. They handle licensing and sales of schools' IP and digital assets. It says right here within this article, an MMR company may help sell signage on a scoreboard or across the stadium, sponsors for official radio broadcasts, banners on an athletic department website, and much, much more. These partnerships are some of the largest and most important for any FBS department. It also mentions here that MMR companies also sell into the social feeds of athletic department accounts. To have an official football account or official athletic department account, say, tweet something about a brand would typically cost a lot of money. But over the last few weeks, social media accounts for all of the FBS and even some of the FCS teams have shared content promoting their school's participation in EA College Football 25 that represents an awful lot of impressions and social media app activation that, according to school side personnel I have talked to, EA Sports hasn't paid for. The MMR organizations apparently have already complained to one P5 staffer and said the fact that they've complained about the free social graphic promotions involving the game. The article continues on here and it highlights the fact that even universities are feeling pressure to get these university students to sign these deals. Again, you have to make sure they do it voluntarily themselves, but making sure that they have the access to the app, making sure they had all this stuff lined up, ready to go, so it was easy as possible for them to do this. Thinking about this, why would they feel so much pressure to help get players into the game that they themselves, the university staff, was not compensated for? Comes down to recruiting. Think about this game with the recruiting aspect, with the fact that, again, people don't need the awards. The awards are a bonus. They are not a necessary requirement. Even the players aren't a necessary requirement. A big aspect of this game is how much this game, there's so much pressure to get on this game specifically out there that, again, there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, I'm not getting compensated the way that I want to. Okay, then don't be involved. This community has been custom for the last decade. They're totally willing, as long as this game comes out and they have access to the teams. The college football revamp people are even on this game right now helping out. The fact of the matter is, this community is fully willing to move on without you as long as we have updated playbooks, the slow mesh from Wake Forest, and some new jerseys. We are totally willing to move on you because it's just a superior product compared to Madden. Now, for some people out there, they're like, okay, well, you see the fact that NCAA football is coming back, but it's coming back as EA Sports College Football. Well, maybe we're going to have an EA Sports College Basketball. I think that there are big differences between these two entities. You think about how much heat there is off the field in terms of EA College Football with the whole Ed O'Bannon case that affects all of college sports. You talk about the fact that licensing people, there was a lawsuit between some of the licensing organizations. We're talking about the College Football Players Association is lamenting the fact that there's not residuals for the players, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things out there. The MMR organizations are bad that people are freely sharing stuff on their social media accounts that they feel like they should charge for. Again, there's so many things with that off the field with this game. Now, you add all that onto the fact that NCAA basketball, the last college basketball game that they made, it didn't sell. Unfortunately, you see this thing right here on February 10th, 2010. So the game came out on November 17th, 2009. On February 10th, 2010, EA officially announced that all future NCAA basketball games will be put onto the hold and that there were no plans releasing any more titles in 2010. That year, the game was not released on PlayStation 2 on August 11th, 2011. All online services were disconnected. Basically, what they're saying there is the fact that with this basketball game, the sales weren't there. You think about how much crap and how much momentum this game has to overcome all this off-field drama just to come back. I'm telling you, this game has a ton of hype around it. So no more Bolitnikov, no more Mackey, no more Bednarik Award, things like that. I want you to know something. And I know that most of the sickos are looking at me in the eyes when I say this. We do not care, okay? The Heisman's in the game. The teams are in the game. Most of the players are in the game, okay? Arch Manny, a.k.a. Starch Lanning, I'm going to copyright that name. He's not going to be in the game, but the rest of it, I'm telling you, this community is fully willing to play the game without your stupid best tight end award, best kicker award, best punter award. We're just going to have them name that, and we're going to move on without it. I don't care if I don't have the Maxwell in the game. It would have been cool, but you know what? This community, who's been doing it custom for the last decade, is totally willing to do this without you. All right, guys, get in the comments. What do you think about those awards not being in the game? The MMR organizations off the field, university staffs feeling the pressure to get them in the game just so that they can help them out with recruiting. All those things. I'm telling you, there's so much hype around this game. This is palpable, dude. I'm going to let everybody here know who's stayed to the end of this video. I'm probably going to be streaming some of my games on my my Dynasty that I'm playing right now. I might be getting them. I still have to figure out the sound here and things like that, but I'm going to get that going. But anyways, please hit the subscribe button if you're already here at the end of the game or at the end of the video. I'd really appreciate that. But that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.